What's up, y'all? This is Mob Wives Season 4, Episode 2. I forgot the name of the episode, but we're just gonna get right into it. Um, this episode left off with Ange, Drina, and Alicia talking about Natalie and their dislike for Natalie. So, Natalie heard them talking about her, and Natalie's freaking pissed off. So she goes to Renee. So Renee is like, okay, I'm gonna set up this lunch so we can all air this out. Drita tells Ange about the lunch. And Ange is not feeling it. She's like, hell no. She was freaking nuts. Like, I'm just over it. And Drita is like, you know what, you're right, but I think I'm gonna go. So Drita comes in, she walks in, and she sits down with Natalie, and Natalie starts going off at the freaking chopper. And Drita's looking at her like, bitch, do you know who I fucking am? I'll whoop your ass. That shit don't scare me. Just because you big and bad, there's always someone bigger and more, I know it's bad grammar, badder than you. So don't fucking, get it twisted, bitch. Like, and Renee, she's just sitting there, like, not pretty much saying anything. And then Drita was like, I don't even know you. If I did know you, um, I wouldn't judge you right off the bat, but I don't care enough to know you. So what the fuck are you talking about? And that's the problem that I do have with Natalie. It's like she always is drunk, always is slurred. She never knows what the fuck she's saying, and it's always a freaking problem. So then, in the next scenario, Renee and Drita, they're sitting at the table. Renee and Drita tell Ange what happened. Ange went the fuck off. And if you get Ange that kind of mad, something ain't right with you. Because Ange is Miss Cool. Ange was like, this bitch was fucking whack. She was talking in riddles. I think she's a fucking troublemaker. Well, and your predictions are right, but we're gonna just focus on this episode. And pretty much like Renee was like, I'm gonna talk to the girl and I'm gonna, tell her that she needs to let this go. So Renee talks to Natalie, and Renee was upfront where they was like, listen, they didn't like you because they said that you was incoherent. And Natalie was like, I don't give a fuck. And Renee was like, you need to stop drinking because when you drink, you are fucking rowdy. And Natalie admitted to it. And then Natalie was like, you know what? If it's important to Renee, it's important to me, so I am going to let it go. I was like, all right, that's, a little bit of maturity. Then you have Drita situation. Some guy stalking your store. What a freaking creep. You don't F for people's business. That's what you pay the price for being on reality TV. All your shit is out there. So the guy comes to the store and Drita like scares him, like ready to curse him out, beat him up, whatever. Drita with her freaking Drita threats. And the guy freaking runs, and it's the way how he ran too. Like he ran, oh god, I don't want to say it like this. All right, I'm gonna say he ran like a freaking pansy. He really did. He looked demented. He really did. So then we get into the meat of this episode. So before I talk about the meat of the episode, I do have to say this for it to be understandable. Alicia, her brother, her brother meets up with her, and she's telling her brother like, I'm listening to these wiretaps and I found out that Eddie went to the strip club, and how come you didn't really tell me? Your brother's looking at it like you're freaking crazy. Like, what do you expect him to do? And quite honestly, it's like that's how I feel like it is with the whole Alicia situation. She wants a pity party. She's always like, oh me, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And she was telling Drita this while she was working on the freaking boardwalk. And it's like, Alicia, you are trying to make us feel sorry for you, and it's not freaking working. You know what you did, own up to your shit. That's how I freaking feel about it. And it's the same thing with Eddie. I never dated a criminal. I do have people in my family are criminals, and I do know my aunts and cousins who dated them. You date a street guy, you're gonna have to deal with the repercussions. It's not always smooth sailing. And she heard this wiretap with, because that's the thing. Alicia knows of Carla, not the Carla that was on season 1 through 3, a different Carla who's an ex-girlfriend of her husband, Eddie Garofalo. And Drita and Ange, well, Ange didn't know of Carla, but Drita first time met Carla at Renee's Mob Candy launch party. And Alicia heard that Eddie and Carla still had a friendship, even though she told Eddie not to have a friendship with this ex girl. And she heard Renee was going out to dinner with them. So Alicia is piping mad. I would give Alicia credit. She went to Renee before she started mouthing off, towards everybody. But she didn't mouth off to Natalie, But I guess it's because her and Natalie do have some sort of history. But anyway, she went to Renee and she told Renee what happened. And Renee was like, you listen to these wiretaps, you're not going to hear all great things. You have to prepare yourself for it. I see where Renee was coming from with that. But the way how Alicia made it sound like, she made it seem like Renee was being messy, or Renee was scheming with Eddie or Carla and trying to get them put back together. I'm like, from what Alicia was telling Renee, they all went out for dinner for Chinese food. Why is it that freaking serious? Why are you taking it over the top? She's grilling Renee. How many times you went out with dinner with him? And I'm looking at Alicia like, you have a lot of nerve to ask that. Because it's like Renee said, the issues with your husband. He's the one that lied to you. You guys were in a committed relationship. He did not tell you that he was still friends with this woman, Carla. And from what I know is that Eddie highly respects Renee. And Renee wasn't trying to be messy with you and Carla and Eddie. She wasn't going to you saying, hey, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And these are all like stuff that goes way back. And it's the same thing her brother was telling her about Eddie going to the strip club. He wasn't talking to girls. I mean, he wasn't making out with girls. How do you expect me to know what he does 24/7? Her brother was looking at it the same way, too. I feel like Alicia just needs to freaking get out of this fantasy land and just start dealing with some damn reality. I'm not saying she has the right to be hurt. I'm not saying that it sounds a little fishy, but Renee is the wrong person to confront. Okay? So let's just leave it alone. Peace out.